Make a quick video just kind of explaining exactly what it is that I expect. I've been talking to a lot of people, and I think there's maybe a bit of a disconnect in communication. I've talked to quite a few people who I would love to work with, some really good design, um, some really hardworking people I can tell, but I think there has been a bit of maybe a misunderstanding of what I want and what I need for my business. So basically, I'm going to introduce Divi to you. Now, all of my websites, this is Elegant Themes. All of my websites use one of these two themes, Divi and Extra. Now, they're more like they're called WordPress themes, but they're more like frameworks because you can make literally anything with them. On the back end, they're exactly the same. Extra is on the front end. It looks more like a magazine just by default, whereas Divi is a bit more flexible. You can be made into anything, and so that's kind of the difference between the two. I'm going to go ahead and go into it. In a minute, I'll show you the inner workings of Divi and Extra. But first, this is basically there's a front page editor, which I use the back end just because it's what I've used all the time. You can use the front end or the back end, but I think the back end works better. I've also had some problems like saving in the front end, so I think it's better to use the back end just for consistency. As you can see, Divi is very flexible. You can make just about anything. These are all very different websites, different styles, maybe like some sort of similar format, but it's all different. So if you go and you look at these websites, these are all websites that were built with Divi, right? And so if I was going to, and you'll see lots of different things. You look at like, I'll go ahead and look at my website too because it's also built with Divi. This compared to this, compared to this, for example, all three of these websites were built with the exact same theme, and none of them use any custom code. So that's really important here. There is very rarely you need custom coding, and so that's something I want to be very clear about because it seems like people that I've talked to, they expect to have to code things, and that's what they think is going to take so long, but this is not an efficient way. It used to be, like 10 years ago when I started as a web developer, it was an efficient way of creating a website because stuff like Divi, WordPress didn't exist or wasn't as advanced as it is now. But the more I've worked, the more I've come to realize custom coding most of the time, unless what you need is very niche and specific, it's just not worth it. It's not worth your time. What I'm doing is not niche or specific. It's just good design. That's it. I don't have anything that you can't. I don't have any features on any websites that you can't use a plugin for. And if we have to pay for a plugin, that's totally cool too. That's probably going to be cheaper than me paying somebody to make it happen on their own. Whenever there's a feature that isn't already built into Divi, which is most of them, most of what I almost nothing do I even need a plugin for. Almost everything is built into Divi. But when I do need to use a plugin, look for a plugin, a free plugin, obviously. Make a judgment call whether or not it's safe or secure. That's totally fine if you can just make it work. If there's really nothing, come to me and say, there's nothing, maybe this paid plugin will work. And if it's a reasonable price and it's a more complicated task that you can't do, that takes a few hours to do yourself, then I have no problem paying for it. It just depends on obviously the price and kind of the trade-off in time. So yeah, anyway, that's Divi. Now I'm going to go ahead and take you through like my process for this. I built nearly 1,000 websites with this exact process. So there's no reason that you need to do anything else is what I'm trying to say. And websites using this process, using Divi and building visually rather than with code, take hours, not weeks. You look at I can build a nice e-commerce website. Sorry, I can build like a standard website in something like 6 to 8 hours, where an e-commerce is more like maybe 10 to 12 hours. You don't need 80 hours to work on this because we're not coding from scratch. We are utilizing the tools that we have. Okay, and the faster you work you can do, the more work will come your way from me. So anyway, I have 3 different servers. This is our websites. These are my personal websites for various things. This is their websites. That's like kind of client sites. I have other servers as well, but these are just what's in this account. But I'm going to go ahead and take you through like the process here. So basically, for the name, it's just the name of the site, right? It usually needs like test website. The domain, we start with the IP address. I can assign a domain later on. That has to be the IP address of the server. You go like test website, admin, password. I'll give you the password later on. Sorry, that one. PHP 7.2, and that's it. So as soon as we create this app, this is a server pilot. I don't know if you guys know what that is or not, but it's just software that's installed on my server to manage websites. And as soon as we create that app, and give it a few seconds here. As soon as we've got that, we have our test website, right? Pretty simple, straightforward. And then I put in admin, I put in my password, and I've got the backend here. The first thing that I do is I always delete pages and posts because I don't like this garbage, right? And then I'll go ahead and delete, and we're back here. Same with plugins. I don't deal with these plugins. I just delete them. I like to keep it all clean, you know, so it's more organized. Things that I'm not using, I like to delete. And from there, I'll upload Divi. And this is on my desktop. It's just divi.zip, right? Install now. Activate. And delete. I like to, like I said, things I'm not using, I like to delete. Unless I think I might delete it or use it sometime in the future. From there, we can customize Divi. This is very like visual customization. Like this is going to be where you customize the footer and the header and things like that. The first thing that I like to do is I put bottom bar. You put in your credits here. I say diffused by my company. And then I say copyright. Oops. Copyright. Test, whatever the title of the website is, right? Website. Is that everything? Yeah. True osmosis. Okay. And as soon as we've got that, we have this, right? Does that work? Yeah, that's right. I don't know why I had an X there. And then I'm just going to leave it alone from there, because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create my home page. Add new. We don't have any pages yet. We'll just call this first one home. And we have to click, this is important, use the Divi builder. And then from there, I'm just going to go ahead and publish, because I don't actually need like it's just a blank page, pretty straightforward. And then I'm going to go back into the theme customizer, and I'm going to set that as my home page. And that way, whenever I go to the home page, it's just going to show me that exactly what I want it to. And then when I go back here, perhaps I should have created the home page to begin with rather than going straight into the customizer. And so this is the Divi builder. Like I've said before, you don't need to touch any code. So if I want to, this is the website that I gave you all as an example. The reason I gave this website is not because I actually want to recreate this website. It's more about this is a website that my partner and I really like. This is kind of the stylistically what we want to implement. Okay, and so basically what we're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and create some of this website, and I'm going to show you really how fast you can do it. And so this is going to take a bit of a learning curve, but this is just to give you kind of the inner workings. I can do it really fast because I have built hundreds of websites doing this, but it doesn't take that long to pick up. So if I'm going to do this right here is going to be the title, and then this right here is going to be the subtitle. Okay, and this button right here. This is not actually going to be this. Oh yeah, it can be. Let's just go ahead and put that there. Shop now, and I'll maybe I need to put that background in. And so this website, when you like duplicate it, it's not going to be exactly the same, but it is going to be similar. I don't expect, when I say copy a website, I don't expect it to be exactly the same. I don't want it to be exactly the same. I want it to be its own website. But what I do want is I want the style to be kind of, you know, the same. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually just going to go to the page source. There we go. PNG. Logo, anything with a logo is probably not it, but if you see something that's like background, right? Full width image, that's probably it right there. Maybe, what do I have to do? Maybe I do need this number, the full URL. No, that's not the front image, is it? Favicon. Maybe it's not a PNG. Okay, how am I going to find this image? Oh, there it is right there. Okay. Found it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save that image. And I'm going to set it as my background to this full width. Set it to large. Normally, if I was creating a real client's website, what I would want to do first is I would actually want to compress this image. 99. It's already pretty small, so maybe I don't have to worry too much about that, but I'll go ahead and just compress it. It's a little bit smaller, right? I'll delete this one. Again, I like to delete things when I'm not using them. Put this, save and exit. So, and then I'm going to set this, I'm going to make sure that it is set to be make full screen. And I want text and logo orientation centered. So then let's see what I've got so far. So far this is what I have, and you know, it's looking all right, but we're gonna keep going, obviously. Actually, I need to go back to that. I'll go ahead and just create this first image, everything for you guys, so you can understand kind of what we're working with, I guess. Save image as, that's what I want. PNG. And then I'm going to go back to Divi theme options. I'll go ahead and set the logo. Okay. Oops. So I knew that was something that I needed to do. Set the logo. Now, one thing that I want to do is I want to get this arrow in here. So if I'm going to do that, I need like something like, what is it called? Font Awesome. Icons. And this is where like a little bit of coding comes in, but it's not real code. Actually, I don't even think I have to do that. So if I want to go in and I want to put this button, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the button 1 right here, custom styles for button 1, sorry. And the text color I'm going to make white. Let's see. No, sorry, it's gray. I'll make this like a gray. And I can always change this later if I want to get like the exact right. And then this background, why don't I just go ahead and check it out, what colors these are. And so as you can see right here, this is actually like a rotating banner. I don't need it to be a rotating banner. I'm just going to make one image. But obviously, it's not that hard to make a rotating banner, you know, if that's what I end up wanting to do. Okay, so I'm gonna get the style, the color. Go and put this as the color, button one text color. Okay, and then I've got what's the background color? Background color is actually white, so okay. And then border color, we don't need a border color. Border width, no border width. Border radius. So we are gonna add in. I don't. This does have a radius, as you can see. I don't know exactly what it is, but border radius is 27.5 pixels. I'm just gonna put 28. We'll see what happens. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and update. Let's see what we've got. I don't actually want the border there. So how do I? Text color. Border width? No, I'll put the border width to 0. So Divi, sometimes I lose track of these things because Divi has changed over the years. But it's basically, basically the same. You do sometimes have to look for things. So I'm going to go ahead and add this arrow that the button has. Let's just make it, it's Pro. Font Awesome. Font Awesome Pro. Font Awesome changed really recently. I'm not. Go ahead and take this one. It doesn't have to be exactly the same. Like I said before, we use free resources here. So I'm going to add in, there's a shop now, the button text. I'm going to go ahead and add that in. Now I do need to add the, let's see, CDN Font Awesome. I typically have this already in my code. So the way that you include this coding in Divi is you go integration and then you put it in the header or the body, whatever. Go and save changes, and then let's see. Nope, looks like it didn't include it. I've never actually put that in the button before, so I'm not sure. But it could be that it's not going to let me do that, which is totally fine. Say shop. Now we can even like put. I don't have to put an arrow in there. Whatever works. Well, I'm not going to get too stingy with the exact details because I don't. Because I know that it's not easy to make this all work exactly right. But I don't want it to be exactly the same anyway. So we've got this. We've got this arrow that comes up automatically when you mouse over it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make the one thing that I like about this is I can put a text background. I can put so I've got the background in this module, but then this goes on top of that module. But it's also full width. So what I can do is I can put a semi-transparent background on top of this. I'm going to make it white, but then I'm going to make it mostly transparent, like this, something like that. I don't know exactly what promptly does, but I'm going to go ahead and say that it's something like that. Looks like there's a little bit less than that, so I'll go ahead and make it a bit less than that. Let's try 0.3. Okay. The idea here is that it's got to be like faint enough that we can make this text white, which is something that we want to do. So if we go in here and we go to design, we can change the styling of the text. So you have the title text here. We'll go ahead and make this white. Actually, let me just make sure that this is white. Or something really similar. Yeah, it's white. Okay, so we'll go ahead and make that white. And then we will make the subheading text also white. Boom. Like this. Let's make this a little bit more faint because it looks like the white is not showing through quite right. Point 2. Okay. Looks like the fonts are a bit different, but that's all right. As you can see, this is the same length as this one, so let's go ahead and make that also. Change the size up just a little bit. Design. Note that these are all set to the default font. We're going to change that in a second. Content text, subhead text. I'm going to change this to maybe 20 pixels. We can change the spacing to 1 pixel. Let's see how we like that. I'm going to take it back to 18 pixels, but leave this line spacing. Subject font, change that to 18. Update. It doesn't have to be exact because we're actually going to change this font later anyway. Okay, then the next thing is, as you remember before, I changed the logo here, but it's the same color as that. So one thing that we need to do is go into theme options, theme customizer, and then change the header settings, header format, primary. This is the primary menu bar, and so we're going to go ahead and make the background color totally transparent. I hope that doesn't show. We're going to go ahead and make the logo height 100%. Not that, sorry. And the menu height a bit bigger also, maybe. Go ahead and publish this and see what it looks like. Why is this showing? Oh, it's because I... Okay. This is obviously, for some reason, that's just showing up in my header. That's actually never happened before. Maybe what I need to do is theme options. I'm just going to get rid of it. It's alright, I don't need it. Oh, did I? I didn't even include it. I just wrote the URL. Oh man, that's so stupid of me. I didn't notice that. I thought it was the include tag. Anyway, I feel stupid. Okay, so we've got this and we have this. What we probably want to do is actually bring this down and bring this one up, because you'll see from this is like maybe 130, and then put this at 80. You'll see from this one that it's pretty small and it's a little bit away from the top. And so if we do that, it will be kind of along the same lines, maybe a bit smaller. Just making the menu height higher, something like that. That's all right. And then okay, so the next thing is you have the menu items up here. We are going to text color is going to be also white. This is the menu over here in case you didn't notice the change. And as you can see, this is all very, very subtle. It's subtle up here also. I might make this a little bit darker, this color, this overlay, I mean. So that's going to be all white, and the active link color is also white. I like to keep them the same color, but you know, you can do. So we want to make this transparent also because you can see. Actually, why don't I just go and test that? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a menu. Just call it main menu. Add to menu, and then I'm going to go ahead and put just to create a menu here. Save menu, customize, and then I'm going to add the menu to primary menu. Oh, I have to refresh this. So go back into menus and then main, and we'll put that as the primary menu, publish. So we'll go back. Okay, so this is what we've got now. if you look at Promptly Journals, they have some similar things. So if I want to put in, I actually do want to go back and put in Font Awesome CDN, because this is how I get these icons up in the menu. So yeah, one of the reasons that I do this is because I'm not very good at code. So when I look at like, this is what I'm looking for right here. Somebody's used up Font Awesome. This is totally different than it used to be. It's a different code. So basically, Font Awesome changed recently. Font Awesome changed really recently, and so what I want to see is, what I'm curious about is what the old code was. This is a Hotjar. I don't think I have it here. Maybe if I go to beta.drop-your-swap. Maybe I put it in here. Oh, this is just. I'm not sure. That's all right. I'll go ahead and just use this one. So I've copied the code over. I'm going to go ahead and put it into the header. Save changes. And then what I want to do is I want to look at Font Awesome. And I'm going to look at, let's just say I want like the cart button. I'm not going to actually create links here, but I'll go ahead and add in the cart just to show you, like how easy this is. Icons. Pick this one. Looks all right. Copy. And then I'm going to add it into the menu. So link text, that's where that goes. URL can be anything. I'll just do that for now. I mean, obviously you can make it the shopping cart in the future. And then we can go ahead and right here. Is that not part of the main menu? Maybe I have the wrong link or something. Why am I not seeing it? I'm having a hard time with this for some reason. Maybe that's the link that I should be using. No, it's still not there. Oh, is this not set to menu? It's set to primary menu. Published. So why is it not? Menu, main, primary. Maybe it got deleted or something. Okay, so go ahead. That's not showing up. Oh, okay, let's see. awesome. How to include font awesome. Not sure why it's not working properly. Let's see. Go ahead and try that. Let's see. What if I deleted it? Nothing shows it then. So go here, add to the head of my blog. Maybe I need something else. Okay, let me go back to Font Awesome. Font Awesome, how to use. They tell me to probably download it myself. Let's see. I think it's pretty much the same. Oh, there it is. Okay. Oh, I don't know why that didn't work before. So basically we've got this. And then the same thing, these change colors, obviously, as you hover over them. And so I'm going to go ahead and this is probably the active color here. So I'm going to go ahead and go back into this page. And then here. I'm going to, oh no, sorry, what am I doing? I'm just supposed to be doing that here. Header, navigation, primary menu bar. So you have the text color and you have the, I think that this is the active link color. That's also the one that's like current. So I need, oh shoot. The hover, where's the hover color? Active link color. Background. Drop down menu text. I'm gonna go and put that. So one thing that they have here that you'll see is the drop down. Where's this? Right here. So you have the background color here. What you have is, you'll notice that there's like nothing here, right? But if you were to, background color of this is white, and I think I changed this. Oh no, sorry, my bad. That's not what I wanted. Background, drop down menu background color, that's the one I wanted. So we have here, this is white. We're gonna have something like this where it's, there's like a gap between here, which is exactly what we want, because that's what, you know, they have over here, shop. And then, we need the drop down menu line color. I want that also to be white because I don't really, it was blue up here before, right, if you remember. Don't really like that. And then we need the text color. This is just the menu, isn't it? Yeah, that changes that. So I don't really like this search thing here, so we'll go ahead and change that. Header format, secondary menu bar, fixed navigation. What am I? Oh, header elements, that's right. So I don't want that to show, but then basically what's going to happen, that one, what's going to happen is, I'm going to publish this yet. I did. Okay, primary menu bar. What I'm looking to do is to make these the right color, but looks like that didn't happen properly. Header navigation. Sometimes this looks a bit different than what you you know, what you actually expect to see. I want that always to be active link color, background color, drop down menu line color, drop down menu text color. That's what I'm looking for right there. So that's just going to be black or maybe a dark gray, right? Publish, go and refresh. So then we've got this and it pops up. So if we wanted to do something like this, you know, we certainly could, because we could just add this image in there, but then, you know, more importantly, we've got these up here. So cool. Now we've got this. I mean, we basically have it. This is right. It's not that complicated. Obviously, we haven't gone any further than this, but I think all I really wanted to do is to give you kind of the idea about how easy this is to actually implement. And you can add, if you want to do things, Divi doesn't allow you to just change this right here, like change the text color and things like that. But if you wanted to do that, it would take a small amount of code, right? And so that's the kind of thing that code is used for. As soon as you start scrolling, you'll notice that you can do something like fixed navigation settings. So what you can do, actually, I'll just go ahead and do it. Why not? I'm going to add a few sections down here just to show you when you scroll what happens. I'm going to add a full width section just to make sure it's big enough. Full width header. I'm going to make sure that that's actually full width, make full screen, I mean. So then you've got enough. So this right here is the primary menu bar, but as soon as you scroll down, there's something else that's called the fixed navigation setting. So if I want to do that, I can change all of everything. Fixed navigation, I want to make the background white and like this. I think it's not perfect, but anyway, we'll go ahead and do that for now. Secondary menu background color, it's also going to be white, the same white. Secondary, I want this to be the same dark gray as before, similar. Background color, hide logo. I can hide the logo image, or I can actually change the logo image as well. If I do something like so, then you'll notice as soon as I do this, it changes to white right here, which is exactly what we want, but we want a bit more than that. So primary menu link color, we're going to go ahead and use the same link color as this. Inspect. So most of the work is going to be in these little details, like for the menu, because the menu is going to carry on to each one. The rest of the sections are going to all be as easy as this one was. Secondary menu, link menu. Sorry, where am I at? No, this is the fixed navigation. Yeah. Okay. Primary menu link color. That's what we're looking for. So it's going to be this color. And then I'm going to go ahead and publish, and then do this again because sometimes the settings don't quite change. So then we've got test. We have home here too, but general settings. Sorry. Primary menu background color, secondary menu link color. I'll go ahead and make those the same color. Oops. Shoot. Active. Oh yeah, I want this to be the same. Maybe like, I don't know, slightly darker, I guess. like slightly darker, publish, and then we've got this right here still. One thing I want to do is go in here and with the, I'm going to go back because I did this just to see what was going on. I'm going to go ahead and add another one, about us, for example. Oh, that's not, I did this backwards. I'm going to go ahead and delete test from here. Put about us right here. No, not that one. Did I save it? Save menu. So this is exactly what we've got. Now we haven't changed the fixed navigation. And then there's certain things you can do. Let's see, Divi, change logo, fixed navigation. And this is where you might use a little bit of code, but I typically just kind of copy and paste, code snippets that I find around town. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and header style default, menu height, fixed menu height, that's what I'm looking for. So if I go in here, fixed menu height, what is the regular menu height here? Primary menu, 130 and 60. 130, oh, what is the height? Hold on. 130, so that's what I'm going to change it to, fixed navigation. Go change it to 130, the same as the other one. And then you go in here, there's your settings, it's just CSS snippet. So this exactly is what I want. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add this in here, Divi theme options. This is where I add my CSS, it's at the bottom of here. Insert new logo image. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and take theirs again, save image as, and of course I'm going to upload it to my media, get the URL, and then oops. Save changes, and then I'm going to go ahead and copy this. So as soon as I scroll down, you'll see it changes exactly the same way, right? So this is just laying the foundations here, guys. This is basically, now I've got the header, I've got the menu, I've got this front image right here with pretty much, I mean, it doesn't look exactly the same, but it's pretty darn close, right? I mean, you've got this, there's no slider image, but we can create a slider if we want to. You scroll down and it changes this. We can add this and this and this, everything. This comes in with a plugin if you want to change your currency, and you just add in like a shortcode into your menu. Pretty easy. And everything. As soon as we're done with that, what I can do, the fonts that are the default font I don't really like, but we can always change that. One of my it depends on. I mean, if I can find their font, let's see if I can find their font and see what it is, and if I have it available with Divi Roboto condensed. Let's see. So if I want to, even copy their font, I might have their font. If not, I can find something really similar, probably. Maybe CDFG. Roboto condensed. Look at that. So I'll put the header font and I'll put the body font to the same thing. Body link. So, and then you can, these are all like universal constants across the whole website. So then you've got the same exact font that they have across the entire website, right? And yeah, and then we have the footer down here, we have the social media. The footer comes in the same kind of settings. Social media is down here. Now if I want to change the URL, this is what I'm going to go. I'll go ahead and show you how I do this in domains.google. I want to see. For some reason, sometimes subdomains I have a hard time moving them over. But anyway, let's go ahead and actually, do you know, I actually have a free domain over here at my GoDaddy account. So go to my GoDaddy account. And I have this Turtletini right here, right? Obviously, I don't really need Turtletini. It's kind of, I bought it on accident, to be honest. So anyway, we've got the, I can go into my apps here, and I'll go ahead and say, okay, Turtletini is my new domain name. I go into my apps, test website, domains. I add turtletini.com in there, and I can add also www.turtletini.com. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the IP address right here, and then I add that into the A record. Change the A record. Where is that? Right here. Okay, save. And then I just wait a few minutes. Sometimes it's kind of immediate, sometimes it's not. Okay, give it a few seconds. But the next step here is I'm going to go into, because I use Cloudflare, Cloudflare for everything. And so this is an important piece. Go ahead and add site, turtletini.com. I'm actually just going to wait first until it's okay, it's coming, don't worry. Next, free, confirm plan. Yeah, that is to make sure that this is the right IP address, especially if you just changed the A record back here, but then you can continue. And then I'm going to wait until I can see turtletini.com. Sometimes it's okay to, in case something's being cached or something, connect to your VPN just to get a no cache. Okay, and so now it's connected, but you've got a problem here because all the images are at the old domain name. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, something I almost forgot about, is I'm going to add a plugin called Better Search and Replace, and I use this for like all the time. Better Search and Replace, install now, activate. Better Search and Replace, and I'm going to replace, make sure it's not all caps, turtletini.com, and I want to find the IP address. So anywhere where that references the IP address, which is like the old URL, quote unquote, you can replace it with the new URL. Search and replace, and then now that if I go to turtletini.com, I've got my website. Okay, let me exit out of here. So we've got this right here. Got this all ready to go. We'll go back to Cloudflare, copy this, add it into my GoDaddy account, custom. And then it's going to take a few minutes, but what I do from there is I actually go back into turtletini.com. And what I'm going to do is, this is really important because going to go back into here and I'm going to change tools, better search and replace. I'm going to change, everything's going to be SSL, right? HTTPS, and I'm going to change this. So I want everything to reference the HTTPS version. And right now, because there's no SSL, it's going to be a bit iffy, and I might get some errors or something like that. I don't know. But I go in here and I make sure that it says flexible in my. I go into speed and I tell it to minify everything. I go in and I purge my cache, which it's not actually going to let me do, but it makes me feel better. And then it looks like it is active, which means that if I go to HTTPS, it might not be quite ready yet, but we'll see. Yeah, not quite ready yet. But, I mean, that's the idea here. So why don't I just go ahead and get rid of the HTTPS. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to install another plugin. That is called Force SSL. And that way it will always show the SSL version. And this is probably going to break the site initially until the SSL is actually ready, which can take like half an hour sometimes. So Force SSL, it's going to kick me off the site. Out of the logged in area because I'm not using SSL right now, and it's going to break it. But as soon as the SSL is ready, it will be fixed again. And that is pretty much it. So what I showed you guys here is basically my process for going through that. Obviously, you're going to add more content to the pages, but that's actually the easy part. The hard part is just getting all the little details right. It doesn't have to be exact. But it also doesn't, I mean, it doesn't have to be exact, but it also doesn't, what's the word I'm looking for? It needs to look good, but the thing is, looking good doesn't take that long if you have this kind of process that takes you through everything. So, I mean, as long as you're taking design inspiration, we don't need to waste 80 hours, 2 weeks of work on custom coding a perfect website, because the thing is you can get something that looks really, really good, even copying somebody who's really successful. And I mean, I think I've been on here for, it's less than an hour for sure. I'm not sure exactly what time I started. But I've actually finished all of the really hard parts. All the easy parts are adding in the rest of the content. And so as long as you don't have like tons and tons of content, the easy part's done. And so that's really the lesson here, is that, sorry, the hard part's done. I could probably finish the site using all of their media in 2-3 hours. It wouldn't take me that long. And so what I want from the person that I work with is to be able to use this process. There's going to be a bit of a learning curve. I understand, you don't know how to use Divi like maybe quite as well as I do. But you take the time and you learn it, and then you're as fast as I am after a couple of sites. That's kind of the idea that I want everybody to work with. I want you to be able to build out these new sites, and I'm not going to have you copying sites. I'm going to have you designing new sites. So it is going to take a bit longer, but I think like 8 to 12 hours to design a new site versus 2 to 3 hours to copy a site should not be so unreasonable. You know what I mean? So this is the process that I kind of want you to follow. I want you to use Divi. I want you to use Divi to create something really good. If you have to work hours and hours, 20 hours to get one feature, the feature isn't worth it. And that's just what I've learned over my experience. Even if you have to pay for a plugin to make that feature work, it's better than spending. I mean, because those plugins are usually like, I don't know, $10 to $30. It depends on how expensive it is, obviously. But if you have to work 20 hours of coding to get the pricing feature to work properly, then you can definitely spend $20 on a plugin to make it work, because your time is worth more than $1 an hour. And so that's kind of the basic philosophy that I want to employ. But yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. If you think that you can do this, then we can work well together. If not, then that's totally fine. But this is kind of the way that I want to go. And there will be, whoever I decide to hire, there will be a lot of work going down the road. It's not just going to be like these one-off sites every once in a while. I have a lot of work to do, and I would really like it if I had somebody to help me, because I have too much. That's why I'm coming to you guys. I have new clients all the time. I have my own personal websites that I want developed. My partner and I, we have new projects all the time. And so I'm looking for somebody who can work with me using this process kind of on a more consistent basis. In the mobile app development, you'll be a little bit more on your own, because I don't do that. I just work on websites. Um, excuse me. But I still want to, whoever I hire, I want to be able to trust to work as efficiently as possible. Because not only do I have limited resources, but I have limited time to make everything happen. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. If you think we'd be a good match, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, sounds good.